There are so many quests in Final Fantasy XIV, but the only quest line we know for sure is important is the one with the big flamey symbol, the main quest. The rest of them, well, some of them have a plus next to them, but how do we know which ones are worth doing and which ones are not? In this video, I will highlight a handful of significant side quests that unlock or grant access to something generally helpful on your journey. Number 1. While not entirely a side quest, and not entirely a main quest, a crucially important side quest to do is your class and job quest line for the job of your choice. These can be easily missed in the jungle of quests on your map, as they don't stand out particularly much, being flagged as one of the blue ones with a plus on it, indicating they unlock something. If the class or job you have currently equipped has a new quest waiting for them, it will appear right underneath your main scenario quest guide box. Pressing the text itself should open your map and highlight where the quest is found. While your class learns most of its actions automatically through level up, specifically the level 15 and 30 action is learned by doing your class quests. And upgrading to the job version requires that you have completed the class quests. Once you advance to the job, most of your actions are learned by doing job quests, except your level 62, 64, 66 and 68 actions, and all actions after level 70. As such, make sure to do your job quests, even if they aren't trying that hard to stand out. Number 2. Rising to the challenge. Once you have completed the main quest Call of the Sea, the one just before you unlock Sastasha, you can take the quest Rising to the Challenge. Completing this quest unlocks the challenge log permanently for your character, which you can find in the conveniently named Logs menu. The challenge log contains all sorts of small challenges that reset every week that gives you an extra reward for doing them. A lot of these challenges are things you would be doing anyway, so simply having the challenge log means you get essentially just extra free stuff. Some particularly obvious goodies include doing dungeons through roulettes, giving other players commendations after doing a piece of content, and so on. Simply find some things you'd like to do if you want to specifically optimize making use of the challenge log. Number 3. A sight to behold. Once you have completed the legendary main quest Sylph Management that unlocks access to your job quests, you also unlock access to the quest A Sight to Behold, which unlocks the Sightseeing Log. Once you have unlocked it, you might start seeing random bluish blobs around the world indicating that there is a sightseeing spot there. This gets easier to work with after A Realm Reborn, as from Heavensward and onward, most log entries are highlighted with these blue blobs, and give some free experience for doing them. Most of them require you to simply stand on the blob or location and use a specific emote, and often the emote required is /lookout. Sometimes it is something else, like /pray. Regardless, this is another small source of free experience on your journey that you simply miss out on if you don't pick up this feature. Number 4. The Smith. While itself not actually a quest at all, the Hall of the Novice is extremely helpful when first leveling up jobs. Once you have about reached the first dungeon Sastasha, or at the very least have a combat class at level 15, you can speak with the Smith to unlock the Hall of the Novice, which will teach some basic tips and tricks for the role your equipped class happens to be. Take note that some of the advice given can be quite dated, however, things like attacking as a healer is still very significant. What is more important though is that doing this training regiment awards you with very decent level 15 gear in the form of a chest piece, pants, gloves and boots. The final step will also give you the brand new ring, which can be used even at level 1 and grants very decent stats for such a low level ring, but also gives you an experience bonus up to level 30, allowing you to level your current class and all future ones much quicker. So, even if you could not actually care less about the teachings in the Hall of the Novice, honestly, you might learn something if you do pay attention. At the very least, do it for the gear. Number 5. If I Had a Glamour. As soon as you reach Vesper Bay, the Waking Sands, you can pick up the quest, If I Had a Glamour, out in the streets there. Doing it unlocks the Glamour feature permanently, allowing you to override the appearance of equipment you wear with other equipment. It also unlocks Glamour plates, which allows you to make full, easily applicable outfits, which you can put together in an inn. The only requirement to glamour an item is that the item you replace it with visually has to have either the same restrictions as the item itself or looser restrictions. That means, for example, that you cannot glamour a level 15 item to look like an item that requires level 30. And you cannot glamour an item that is usable by only dragoons to look like an item that is not actually usable by dragoons. Number 6. Color your world. While you are there in Vesper Bay anyway, also do the quest Color Your World, as it unlocks dyeing equipment permanently. Keep in mind that when you glamour an item's appearance onto something else, any dye on the item is applied as well. That means that if I want to have a pink dyed robe, I can do that either by glamouring my current chest piece to look like the robe and then dunk it in pink dye, or I can dye the original robe itself in pink dye and then glamour it onto my chest piece. This also applies for glamour plates. Notably, depending on when you are seeing this video, we know that in the next expansion Dawn Trail, we will get access to an additional dye slot on gear, so that might also play into these choices. Number 7. My feisty little Chocobo. Once you have joined the Grand Company during the main scenario quest story and completed the My Little Chocobo quest to get your Chocobo whistle, you will, once you reach level 30, get access to the quest My Feisty Little Chocobo. Doing this quest will allow you to use your Chocobo companion as a combat partner while out in the open world, which can be immensely helpful since you can teach your Chocobo healing spells, allowing jobs without access to these to stay afloat a lot easier when doing open world content. To use your Chocobo in this way, you simply need a Giselle Greens, and each use gives you 30 minutes with your companion. In most places around the world, there will be merchants selling these for 36 gil each, so you can just buy a bunch whenever it is convenient. On top of this, doing this quest also grants access to the Chocobo Saddlebag, a free 70 extra item slots, accessible as long as you are not in a duty. If you have the premium plan for the Final Fantasy XIV companion app, this is also doubled to 140 slots. I'm not sponsored, and I don't use this feature myself. It is simply a fact that it exists. So even if you don't care about the combat companion feature or the companion app, doing the quest for extra free backspace is always useful. Number 8. An ill-conceived venture. Once you have gotten a retainer or two, you can do the quest An Ill-Conceived Venture to unlock ventures and classes for your retainers. This allows them to do stuff for you, leading to free loot. You just have to supply them with venture coins, which you can obtain in a number of ways, including just buying them from your Grand Company in exchange for company seals. I talk about this and more generally things you can do with your retainers in this separate video on that subject. Number 9. Keeping up with the Aliapos. Once you reach Idleshire during Heavensward, you can do the quest Keeping Up with the Aliapos to unlock the Wondrous Tails, a journal you can pick up and fill in each week by doing, for the most part, mundane content you might do anyway. Once it is filled out, you will be guaranteed half a level to whichever job you happen to have equipped when delivering it, as well as some other rewards based on how many lines you got. Similar to the challenge log and the sightseeing log, this serves as an additional way to just get awarded extra free stuff for doing things you probably would do anyway, and there's no downside to unlocking it. If you want to know more about the Wondrous Tails, I talk a bit more about it in this separate video, link to it and the other video in the description. Number 10. Unlocking roulettes off the main path. While most of the daily duty roulettes are unlocked naturally as you progress through the main scenario quest, specifically the guild hests, normal raids and frontline are not. Guild hests you can unlock through the level 10 quest, Simply the Hest, which is picked up in one of the starting cities depending on where you began. However, this roulette is somewhat iffy on its value. The challenge log entries about it makes it mildly worth it, but the guild hest rewards themselves are not worth the hassle. For normal raids, once you've completed the quest Heavensward, completing the leveling story for that expansion, and gotten through the end credits, you can begin the questline for Alexander, starting with the quest Disarmed. Once you've completed 2 of the raid encounters, you have access to the normal raid roulette. Finally, for Frontline, first complete the quest A Pup No Longer, which is found at your Grand Company and can be picked up once you have unlocked a job at level 30. Once completed, go back to your Grand Company again and do the quest Like Civilized Men and Women, which will unlock Frontlines for you, a player versus player game mode. I highly advise you get acquainted with how your job of choice works in PvP by going to Wolf's Den Pier and messing around a bit. Look in the PvP profile menu under Character to find your actions. The normal raid roulette gives decent rewards and is a neat extra option for your dailies if you prefer. Frontline gives a lot of unique to PvP rewards, as well as good experience. In fact, the experience for the roulette is granted to the job you enter the frontline as, and nothing prevents you from switching to a different job once you're already inside. Naturally, all side quests with a plus on them unlock something, so there may always be something valuable behind such a quest. However, it can be difficult to know for sure whether it is so valuable that you should do it now or wait till later. If you remember a specific side quest you feel that I missed, be sure to mention it in the comments. Now, that is all for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to support me and my channel, you can let the YouTube algorithm know by liking the video, leaving a comment, subscribing, and hitting the bell to get notified when next I post a video. And if you want to give even more support than that, you can also become a member of the channel like these wonderful people here. Fun fact, before Stormblood, the quests that unlocked Glamour and Dying was exclusively found in Mordona and required level 50. These alternative quests still exist there, but now require only level 15, and are mutually exclusive with the ones found in Vesper Bay.